Welcome to the Tea Huddle with Marisa and Kelly.
Your only source for gridiron gossip.
If you like hearing about other people's business,
And if you like updates on the NFL,
then you are in the right place.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
I hope your New Year is starting out as great as Marissa's is.
My New Year is starting out great because I'm $450 richer.
Woo! She's rich.
I won my first ever
fantasy.
and I did it without any perpetrators of domestic assault,
And
which is a real miracle because they're abundant in the NFL.
this is crazy. When we talked about this week one,
Yes.
you traded away a lot of players.
Yes.
I was
I was
skeptical.
Googling during the draft, like this person domestic assault, this person trouble. That was my trick for Googling, because then it would come up like blank to blank finds himself in trouble.
This was not rigged at all. You won.
There were 10 people in the league, and I beat them all.
You beat them all.
Wow.
Fair and square.
It was really exciting at the end. Pacheco on the Chiefs and the kicker on the Chiefs and Lamar Jackson, who we'll talk about later. Those were my stars. They secured me the bag.
It's
Thanks,
a great
guys.
team you got.
Thanks, guys. Travis Kelce was no help at all. For the third week in a row, he got me less than 5 points.
He's going through it.
I don't blame Taylor for this. I blame him. And you're still in this. Step it up, Kelce. Step it up. But everybody else, Mike Evans, love you. Jahmyr Gibbs on the Lions, love you.
Shout out.
Everyone, thanks for all your help. I'm not sharing the money though. Woo! That's been the highlight of my year so far. But everyone knows that the week in between Christmas and New Year's is a blur where time doesn't exist. So
That's true.
Kelly, can you remind us what happened only days ago in football? I have no idea.
You could say years ago.
Yeah,
a year ago.
Exactly.
It was a great way to end the year watching some football.
Mm-hmm. Lots of it.
The most exciting thing that happened during week 17 was when the Cardinals stunned the Eagles in Philly.
In their own house.
And now, the Eagles, they have now fallen 1-4 without their security chief, Big Dom, after he was barred from being on the sidelines after an altercation with the 49ers linebacker. And I don't know if this is a coincidence, maybe karma, but
was he
something's
just
up.
bringing great vibes? Maybe was he?
No, we gotta look into this.
Of what Big Dom had over the Eagles to propel them to greatness, because he's taken it away.
I think he's only barred for the regular season. So
okay,
if
they make it to the
playoffs, we'll see if that changes things if he's back.
And if it does, then we really need to investigate further.
Find out what he's doing. What is he giving them? The Ravens and 49ers both clinched the number 1 seed with their wins this past week. Congrats to both of those teams. The refs' awful call against the Lions resulted in a tough loss against the Cowboys. We will get to that later. There's a lot to talk about with what happened during that.
It was
final
nuts.
few minutes of the game.
Someone who's newly interested in what's happening in the game and not just out of the game, I was engrossed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to need to spend time.
Definitely.
The Panthers get shut out, causing their owner, David Tepper, to dump a drink on a Jags fan.
That was crazy. That was maybe crazier than the Eagles losing to the Cardinals.
Yeah.
An owner threw his drink on a fan.
This is his company, his business. He was fined $300,000, which is nothing to him. He is a hedge fund billionaire. And apparently $300K is equivalent to $1.25 to regular people because his net worth is so big.
So just a little drop in the bucket for...
Yeah, just $1 fine.
But, at least there were repercussions for his crazy behavior.
Can't be doing that.
Definitely not.
And then the Dolphins had a rough showing on Sunday against the Ravens, but it wasn't as rough as Tyreek's Wednesday.
Yes, this is breaking news. Wednesday, so at the time that this comes out yesterday, Tyreek Hill was at Dolphins practice and his house caught on fire. He left practice early. This happened around 2 p.m.
So scary.
Yeah, everyone's safe. No people or animals were harmed, and the fire was put under control by the local fire department.
Yeah, I saw the videos of it. It looked like it was a huge fire. I think it was like one half of the house or a certain section of the house.
The videos that I saw of it were on Rick Ross's Instagram. The rapper Rick Ross is apparently Tyreek Hill's neighbor.
Their neighbors. so crazy.
A fire's not funny, but like it's a little funny that that Rick Ross is breaking the news to America. He stepped outside and he's recording himself on Instagram, front lines of the incident. He thinks that it was an electrical fire because the smoke was getting thicker. I don't know enough about fire or electrical fires specifically. Authorities have not announced the cause, but Rick Ross has. So I feel like case closed.
We'll take that.
It is a $7 million mansion, 7 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms, an NBA court.
Yeah, he has like a spa in there. It seems like a really beautiful house.
Yeah.
And I think the firefighters had to cut holes through the roof and pour water down, and just really horrible, actually.
Yeah. There was footage of him outside of the home with his new wife watching the fire. And you noticed he's in a foot brace.
Yeah, he left practice early, obviously, rushed home, had a foot brace on. I think he has had some ankle issues this season. Maybe he got injured during the Ravens game this past week. But he has a huge game coming up against the Bills.
Yeah, so hopefully this isn't
playoffs are on the line. So hopefully he's recovering. But just to go through this stress of this fire with this week that's coming up.
And who knows like what was damaged in the home.
Yeah, exactly.
His gym or training equipment or anything like that.
And where do they stay now?
Yeah. So even though he is on our list of foes because of his past behavior, we don't want anyone's house engulfed in flames. So
we hope his home gets recovered, but it looks like Tyreek won't quite make the MVP race despite having an amazing season. He was on my fantasy team and he helped me get into 5th place. But not first,
but a lot of points.
But I'm halfway there.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so there's all the talk of the town is about the MVP race.
MVP race is on.
Who are the other finalists on the list? Obviously, my quarterback, Lamar Jackson. He is a topic of conversation in this MVP debate.
Definitely Lamar. It also looked like for a bit Christian McCaffrey was going to be on the list, be the first non-quarterback to win since Adrian Peterson, who's a running back for Minnesota, or who was a running back for Minnesota. He won the MVP back in 2012, but since then there has been no non-quarterback who has won the MVP.
That's so interesting because like in my mind the quarterback is the star, but it's true, I guess it's just the fact that the quarterback is the star.
Well, yeah, they call a lot of the they have to make the decisions. They're demanding a lot from all the players.
Interesting. But Christian McCaffrey's like in the running, or they thought maybe he was.
Yeah, he's had an incredible season. He has like 1,500 rushing yards, which is incredible.
So Olivia Culpo picked a good one, is what we're saying.
Yeah, it could be his year, wedding and MVP.
Yeah.
But I feel like there are some other candidates out there.
Who else?
Brock Purdy's another one. He's a strong candidate because he leads the NFL in passing touchdowns. But I agree that I don't think there's any way that he beats out Lamar.
Brock Purdy's teammate Deebo Samuel definitely thinks that Purdy should be the MVP. He showed up to the game this weekend wearing a Purdy MVP vest, stitched like MVP all over it, and then Purdy's name and number on the back. And it was actually made by 49ers fullback Kyle Juszczyk's wife, Christian Juszczyk. So like whole family, the Wags, the players, everybody's like all
teammates supporting teammates.
It gives like nice vibes over there on the 49ers.
And it's a sick jacket or vest.
Brock Purdy, I'm sure we've said before, was drafted last overall of every single person drafted into the NFL, which they call Mr. Irrelevant, which is so mean. And now he's in talks for MVP. What a nice tale.
Yeah, I do hope he gets an MVP eventually.
Yeah,
he's young. I'm definitely in the cards for him.
Yeah, and
maybe this year. Who knows?
And people win multiple times. Lamar Jackson has won already.
Previously, yeah.
Which is interesting because people talk about him like he's sort of under the radar, not like given the respect he deserves. I thought he was newer and like hadn't impressed yet, but he's a MVP.
Yeah.
But he still isn't given the respect.
I feel like he's been having to fight a lot harder than some other people.
Yeah.
It does seem like everyone has an opinion. LeBron James actually tweeted after the win against the Dolphins this past weekend. He thinks Lamar is MVP. His tweet is kind of related to a conversation between a few Fox Sports radio hosts who were discussing who they think would be the MVP. Lamar came up, and one of the hosts, Monse Bolanos, said, "I want my quarterbacks to be quarterbacky," which is icky.
Yeah, it feels coded. I mean, it feels racist, is
racist.
what it sounds like it is. Like a quarterback is typically a white position.
It's a horrible thing to say.
And yeah, gross. And then LeBron
tweeted, he said after the game, "Quarterbacky, huh? Nah. Him. H.I.M.
Hell yeah.
Lamar."
Yeah, I've been paying close attention to Lamar this season because he's been my quarterback. He got 5 touchdowns this past week and seems unstoppable and seems like he should now be a 2-time MVP NFL QB.
I think he's got it in him this year. So
I was digging around on Lamar, trying to see like what else we can know about him. Do we like him? What like off the field as much as we like him on the field?
Tell us more about him.
There's not a lot about his personal life, which I respect. I'm going to challenge it. I'm going to find what
We're going to find something on you, Lamar.
So what we do know, he's the oldest of 4 kids. His father and grandmother passed away the same year when he was 8 years old, leaving his mother to be a single mother raising all 4 kids. But he says she had a vision for his football career before even he did. She was his first coach and used her background as a college basketball player to guide
family.
Yeah, to guide training him on her own. He said they ran every single day despite the weather. He said like still to this day practices have never been as hard as like how his mom trained him when he was a kid.
Yeah, they're really close. She lives with him still, right?
Yes, he used his first NFL paycheck to buy a home for his mom and his brother and himself to all live in together.
Very sweet.
Yeah, he says he proclaims himself as a mama's boy. He says she's his superhero. She actually so she was training him, and then she eventually hired a local trainer, this guy Van Warren, to work with her. And Felicia Jones, which is Lamar Jackson's mom's name, and Warren still work together running a free Sunday football clinic called the Super 8. So
they train other people.
Yeah.
They train people around on football or everything?
I think it's on football.
Okay. That's great. And yeah, another thing about Lamar and his mom, when he got drafted, he decided not to have an agent or a manager.
Which is wild.
Yeah. Unlike, Tommy DeVito.
Who wants them all? Give me a marketing manager. Give me a whatever.
And yeah, instead he just decided to represent himself and have his mom act as an advisor, which is I feel like there's a lot of risk in having family involved in business.
I'm sure a lot of people would say that it was ill-advised.
Yeah, but it's clearly worked out for him. Yeah. Last May, he re-signed with the Ravens for a 5-year, $260 million contract, making him the highest paid NFL player in history.
That's amazing. And he doesn't have to give 10% to anybody.
Yeah, nice work, Mom.
Yeah, wow. That's so cool.
It's like MJ when his mom helped negotiate the deals with
the sneakers.
Yeah, the sneakers.
Yeah. Air movie, right? That's what it was. Yeah, so cool. So we know he's super tight with his family, particularly his mom. We don't know a ton else about his personal life. He had a longtime girlfriend named Jamie Taylor, who he met at University of Louisville in 2017, but it is hard to know if they are still together or not. He also has a 2-year-old daughter, Milan, but we don't know if that daughter is with Jamie Taylor. We don't know. We know she's cute, the daughter. I don't know if the girlfriend's cute because I can't find a picture of her. So
definitely cute.
I'm sure she's cute. Yeah, so he has a cute daughter and a badass mom, and he's making the play for MVP second time.
Yeah, and so how it works, at the end of the day, the award is voted upon by a panel of 50 sports writers.
Oh, I didn't know this.
And it happens at the end of the regular season, so coming up this next week.
Okay.
Before the playoffs, but they don't announce the results to the public until right before the Super Bowl.
Oh, and it's not necessarily somebody in the Super Bowl.
No, because they decide sooner than that. So they're going to make the decision soon. Unfortunately, we won't find out for a few more weeks, but
we'll let you know.
we are rooting for everyone on our list here.
Yeah. I hope everybody wins. Just kidding.
You know who's not winning the MVP? The star of today's
Step out of the car. Step out of the car, Drew Ogletree. Step out of the car.
We have a new arrest this week. I feel like we haven't had one in a while, so it was about time. Friday, December 29th, Drew Ogletree, the tight end on the Colts, was arrested and charged with 2 felonies: domestic violence committed in the presence of a child less than 16 years old, and domestic battery resulting in moderate bodily injury. These are both level 6 felonies, which carry a maximum penalty of 2.5 years in prison and a fine up to $10,000.
Yikes.
Yeah, not good. I guess trigger warning, domestic assault. We're going to get into the incident. So it took place the day after Christmas, December 26th, when the victim, who it didn't say explicitly, but we're assuming is Drew Ogletree's girlfriend, saw on his phone evidence that made her think he was cheating on her. She broke the phone. Then Drew Ogletree picked up the victim and slammed her to the ground, stood over her, and allegedly said, "They will never believe you." The victim was on the phone with her sister at some point during all of this, and her sister is the one who made the initial call to the police.
We very much believe her.
Yes, yes, definitely. And as for the charge that says a child less than 16, his young son was home at the time of the incident. We don't know. Court docs didn't say if it's her son as well and how young the son is, but just super troubling that this would happen at all, let alone in the presence of a child. The police called for an ambulance, and the victim was taken to the hospital to have her injuries looked at and documented for the court case. An arrest warrant was issued 2 days later on the 28th, and he turned himself in on the 29th. He appeared before a judge on Tuesday. So I guess he was in jail for a few days with like the holiday and everything. It was probably a while before a judge could see him. And on Wednesday, he posted a $500 bond, which is so low and like lame that it's only $500 for those 2 felonies.
He was placed, I saw, on the commissioner's exempt list, which is at least something.
Yes.
At least the NFL is taking a stance.
Right. So commissioner's exempt list, you can't play, you can't show up at practice, you can't do anything, but you do get paid.
Yeah.
And the Colts released a statement saying that they're aware of the disturbing allegations. They take these matters seriously, and we have no further comment at this time, basically. So adding him to our list in bold,
definitely
underlined,
on our list,
italicized. So screw you, Drew Ogletree. We hate you. And step out of the car.
Step out of the car. All right, everyone. It's time for the third and final edition of
Marisa Picks a Team.
I can't wait to find out who your team is. We've been waiting since week 1.
Yes.
And we did say it's the new year. You have to make a decision because the final week before the playoffs, and everyone wants to know.
Everybody wants to know.
Everybody. It's true.
It's all anybody's talking about. Yes, we decided I couldn't just wait and see like who got to the playoffs
and who wins the Super Bowl.
Pick them as my team. I've been thinking about it so much since week 1, and I've really narrowed it down week after week, and it ended up between the Ravens, 49ers were in there as well, and the Lions. And it came down to the fact that you can't pick your team based just on the quarterback, I think, because they might leave and you still have to want them to be your team. And so while I do love Lamar Jackson, I'm here today to declare myself as a Lions fan.
That's why you're wearing the blue.
Yes. I didn't think about it in advance enough to get a jersey or shirt, but I am here in my Lions colors as a Lions fan.
I love that pick for you.
Thank you. So I love their coach, Dan Campbell. I love the fact that he was a Lions player and he's now a Lions coach. I like their quarterback, Jared Goff. I like his fiance, Sports Illustrated swimsuit supermodel Kristen Harper. The fact that they're going to have a wedding soon is going to be really fun to follow along with.
Yeah, there you go.
2 guys from my winning fantasy football team were Lions, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Both got me a lot of points.
Yeah, so you watched a lot of games rooting for them.
Yes, right. So I watched rooting for them. Exactly. That's what it was. So I already, sort of feel like a Lions fan. Good colors, not so close to New York, and none of their rivals are near New York. So I could go to a sports bar or walk down the street without getting heckled. I was really looking to avoid any heckling.
No heckling.
I don't have what it takes to be like an Eagles fan in New York. Or
I don't think anyone in New York would heckle a Lions fan.
Yeah, exactly. It's punching down. And that as a Mets fan, I feel a kinship with like the pity, perhaps. They have a tragic history. The Lions
do have a tragic history. Yeah, they are 1-4 teams to have never been in the Super Bowl. And
how can you not root for someone who's never been to a Super Bowl?
I know, and even more than that, they're the only franchise who's been operational since the Super Bowl era and to not even appear in a Super Bowl.
Like the other three are newish. So like
they weren't around when the Super Bowl was created, but they've been around forever. And they haven't won a playoff game since 1991.
This is our year.
This is their time. This is your year. You're their good luck charm.
Let's hope so. It's, I'm sure a longtime Lions fan would say it's easy to get on board now, but I'm going to stick with it. If this is a fluke year.
That's true. You got to stick with it.
All my questions were answered this Saturday when the Lions were robbed. I'm going to paint a picture. I'm going to bring you into my Saturday night. I was out. I came home at like 11 p.m. and was like, oh, right, I'm a football fan now. I should put on the game. And I turned on the Lions game. There were 23 seconds left.
That's how you know you're a Lions fan, just going to say. But
right then on a Saturday night, I'm like, let's watch a little Lions football. I turned on the game. There were 23 seconds left. It was the Lions Cowboys. Lions are down by 1. I didn't know what was going on, but it turns out they had just scored a touchdown. And instead of going for the extra kick to tie it up, they went for a 2-point conversion, which I know what it is.
Talked about
to win the game.
Yes.
So they make the play. Goff throws it to number 68, Taylor Decker. They win the game. It's so exciting. I was like, my Lions, they won. But then the refs are like, no, you didn't win. They went like this. I don't know what that is. I don't know what any of the calls are. Even when they explain them, I barely know. Turns out nobody knew what was going on. Even the refs didn't know what was going on.
No, yeah.
So what actually happened is that apparently not all players can receive the ball. If you're a certain type of player in a certain position, you have to...
Yeah, if you're like an offensive lineman.
Yes. You have to declare to the refs that you are a receiver for this particular play.
Eligible receiver.
Yes. What I learned after the fact is that Dan Campbell, head coach Dan Campbell, told the refs ahead of time, we have a trick play where to throw the Cowboys off so they don't know which one of these guys is receiving, we're going to send multiple players up to you. So number 68, Taylor Decker, who caught the ball, number 58, some other guy, and number 70, some other guy, all go up to the refs together. 68 says, reporting, like I'm reporting to you that I'm now receiving for this play.
Yeah.
Then he caught it. It's on video. It's clear as day that 68 went up, said something. The ref looked at him and ran away. 70 is all the way over here. He hasn't even gotten up to him. The refs got mumble jumble, discombobulated.
Yeah, they said only one reported, right?
They thought 70, this guy over here, when this conversation's happening over here, that this guy reported. So they said on their like system or whatever, 70 has reported, the other two guys aren't eligible. So when 68 caught the ball, they said, oh, well, he didn't report. This doesn't count. Even though 70 didn't report, 68 did report. The refs messed it up. Dan Campbell, because he plays to win, not to tie, he said, we're going for 2 again. They did the same, well, not the same play, but they went for 2, didn't catch it. The Lions lost. It was really sad.
Heartbreaking.
It was heartbreaking, especially
I love your passion too, and I can tell that you are a fan of the Lions, and it was a heartbreaking play. I got text from you. I was out, and I rushed home. No, but I did watch it.
I was just like, who do I know that is awake right now that would care to talk to me about football? Is anybody watching the game? And then I was just Googling like about reporting, about which players can play, about all of it. I literally texted and I was like, has a win ever been turned over? Have they ever been like, we messed up, the Cowboys didn't win, the Lions did? Apparently that doesn't happen.
Yeah, the fact that it was like the last play of the game, and
the last play of a game that has it's a conference game. So it has implications. Like, for something else I learned is that Cowboys will now be the home team in maybe the next game, and it would have been the Lions, and there's a home team advantage, and your fans are there and they're excited, and it's just like, this could change the trajectory of everything. And what I know is that they need me now more than ever. And
they need your passion.
Yes, and I'm here.
And I mean, this coming week, the Lions play the Vikings. They are division rivals. And if they win, the first round matchup would be against the Rams, LA Rams, which, get this, is where Goff used to play when him and Stafford switched places on the Rams and the Lions.
So it's the Detroit former quarterback on the Rams against the Rams former quarterback on the Lions.
So that's gonna, if they make it that far.
I just knew in that moment, like, I've never cared about a football game as much as I did in those 23 seconds. So, you know, the story was written for me. I had no choice but to bleed blue. So I need to learn, now that I know who my team is, I have a lot of work cut out for me. I need to know, like, the things they say, like how Eagles say fly, Eagles fly, go birds, things like that. Like, I need to know what we do, what we as a Lions fans do.
Like, how do they celebrate
a
touchdown?
Like, the Bills jump onto tables. The Bills fans, like, I hope the Lions don't do that. I'm not going to jump onto a table, but maybe I will because now I'm a Lions fan. But I'm not. But I'm excited to end the rest of the season.
We got to get out to Detroit. I'm going to get you a jersey. I'm excited.
Me too.
They're not in the Patriots division or conference
good.
at all.
So it's good for the pod as well.
Yeah.
Good for our harmony.
From now on, I'm rooting for the Lions because the Patriots didn't make it to the playoffs. So I'm all in. I'm all in on your pick.
The Tea Huddle loves the Lions.
Well, we're glad you have a team, Marissa. And that brings us to
Final Goss.
Today we have a two-parter. Marissa, what's up first?
First up, we have an update on a story we've covered before about star quarterback Patrick Mahomes' younger brother, Jackson Mahomes. So this was, I think, a final goss of a previous episode. If not, it was a top story. Jackson Mahomes was due to stand trial for 3 felony counts of sexual battery and 1 misdemeanor charge of battery after an incident last year at a restaurant in Kansas City where he forcibly tried to kiss the restaurant owner multiple times, which is all captured on security footage, and then shoved a waiter of the restaurant that night as well. Well, now, almost a year after the incident, an unexpected turn in the case has happened because the restaurant owner says she will no longer cooperate, she will refuse to testify, and if forced to do so, she will say that she has not been truthful with the police and that the encounter with Mahomes was consensual.
Yeah, I think, of course, we don't know the facts here, but it sounds to me like there was some payment that occurred between the two of them. And that's why her
story is changing.
Going to,
because for like 11 months, her story has been completely consistent. She said she's received death threats and all this stuff.
There's video of footage.
She closed her restaurant. This changed her whole life. And she has stuck with her story. And now as we're approaching trial, she said, actually, that didn't happen. I want to drop it. I don't want anything to do with this anymore. So it reeks of some under the table transaction, as we feel, just like personal opinion. Yeah. Prosecutors said in court documents that they tried to move forward with the case regardless, because as you just mentioned, the whole thing is captured on surveillance video. They're like, we don't need her testimony.
We have the evidence here. Yeah.
But they ultimately did motion to drop the 3 felonies, which a judge approved on Wednesday. Mahomes will still return to court in late March to face the 1 misdemeanor charge, which he got from shoving the waiter. Apparently, Mahomes was dining in a private room, and the waiter smelled weed coming from in, so went in to be like, "What are you guys doing?" And Mahomes physically forced him out of the room.
Yikes! This is all the same night, too.
All the same night.
Wow.
Yeah. So at least, I mean, we'll see what happens if the waiter all of a sudden is like, "Actually, no, that didn't happen."
Yeah, come March 1st, and the fact that there are 3 felonies on this one situation, that suddenly she can't even remember the facts. So it's a little upsetting because, like, we know that
we saw the video.
Yeah, we know what happened, and like when a victim comes out and says that what happened wasn't the truth, it just makes it harder for any future victims, and
Definitely. It's already hard enough for women to be believed when they come forward. So for any woman to say either I'm lying now or I was lying then, yeah, like you said, it just makes it harder for women to come forward. So we don't love that. So obviously this is bad for victims everywhere, but it's also bad for everyone who thinks Jackson Mahomes is just fucking annoying. And because now he's going to be eating up the spotlight, he's going to be doing TikToks on the sidelines again, and we're going to have to see so much more of him.
I'm not looking forward to that.
No.
I wonder if Taylor's people are still going to try to keep him away.
Yes, because
I hope so.
I hope so too. And because whether or not, however this court case ends up, he, like, public opinion of him is very, very low.
Yeah.
And Taylor cares about public perception, and she is beloved. So let's keep it that way and keep him away from her.
Stay away from Taylor.
Stay away from Taylor.
Our next final goss is a little bit more fun and involves a little beef between two players.
This one is fun and silly, as all gossip should be. 49ers Deebo Samuel and free agent Cam Newton got into some very funny beef last week. Cam Newton, who was an MVP quarterback with the Panthers but is currently not on a team, was talking some smack about MVP candidate Brock Purdy, that he shouldn't be the MVP. And Deebo Samuel, Brock Purdy's teammate, came to his defense.
The one who were the best.
Yes, exactly. And he was on a talk show and responding to something Cam Newton had said, you were a fan like 2 weeks ago. You wanted me on your podcast. Stop texting my phone. And then Cam Newton goes on Instagram and is like, stop capping. Like, why are you lying? What are you talking about? I don't even have your number. So then Deebo Samuels is like, I'm going to post the proof. I have receipts.
Got the receipts.
I'm going to post them.
Text.
So he posts screenshots, basically like, you're full of shit. You have my number. You're texting me. Cam Newton has a very specific way of texting. He makes every letter like a
symbol.
Yes, exactly. Like a symbol version of that letter with accents and cross strike throughs. And his Instagram bio even says, I'm not changing the way I type. Get over it.
Hilarious.
So Deebo Samuels posts all these texts in that like font. There's a little bit of back and forth. He says like, hey, it's Cam, hop on the pod. Fuck you, Deebo. Deebo responds with laughing emojis. It seems like these are like two guys having rapport. So he posts these with the caption, there you go, Cam. Like
we talk. Like you have my number. Yeah.
Except right after these screenshots get posted, another screenshot of a Snapchat group chat gets posted.
Oh my God.
And it's of these teenage boys. One of them says that one of his friend's older brothers knew someone who had Deebo's number from the University of South Carolina when he went there, and that this group of boys was texting Deebo pretending to be Cam Newton.
That is so funny.
And then they posted a video of themselves
like apologizing?
No, like calling him, being like, hey, like we just wanted to like see what's up. They sound like max, they're 15 years old. These boys, one of their whoever's holding the phone,
shaking.
His hand is shaking. Like you can tell the adrenaline. They're just like, our prank is coming to a head. I mean, what these boys could have never envisioned is that their prank would end with ESPN coverage of beef between like two NFL stars. It's so funny.
I wonder why they like involved Cam. Maybe they did they know that they didn't get along, or so random?
I know someone needs to interview these boys. Come on the pod, teenage boys somewhere, wherever you are.
Has Deebo like commented or Cam on like the fact that it was like all fake?
Deebo deleted his "there you go" Cam receipt post and instead tweeted like, I don't take anything that seriously. Like, have a great day. Go Niners. He was getting clowned online for just like everyone making fun of him. But I think it shows that he's a nice, trusting guy.
He can go along with the prank.
Yes. And like, you know, all news, it'll blow over in a week. I don't think it's like hitting him too hard. Yeah. And then he had a great win that weekend. So everything's fine for Deebo, but really funny. And I guess good prank for these boys. It's weird that their first instinct when getting an NFL player's number would be to prank him and not like, I don't know what else you would do.
Prank him in Cam Newton font.
Yeah.
Creative.
Very creative.
He better change. Maybe you should change your phone number.
Right. Like Deebo. You shouldn't have the same number that you had now as a famous athlete that you had when you were giving your number to random people at college. That's the lesson. That's the lesson to be
lesson.
learned in this. But either way, it's pretty funny.
Well, that about wraps it up for us. Look out for some more sports gossip next week.
We will be keeping tabs on any house fires, arrests, or if any other players get punked by teenagers.
Hopefully none of this happens, but we will be on the lookout.
Maybe a prank, but not the other one. But until then,
stay juicy.